You know, National Signing Day certainly changed over the last few years. By about 7:30, you'll wait on a few more, as we are too. But by about 7:30, it's over. About 7:15, we didn't have any surprises so far, and we're still waiting on one or two. But we signed 19 high school kids, 2 transfers today, a pro kick Australian, and very, very excited about the class. We think we addressed most of our needs. The ones that we didn't, we'll still have some scholarships available to work through the portal and get those things handled. I am excited about the 2 portal signees that we had today in Hazelwood and certainly Landon Jackson. We signed 10 from the state of Arkansas. Thought it was as good I was here before, obviously 3 years, and then my 3rd recruiting cycle, I guess, here. And I thought it was the best class of athletes in the state of Arkansas. Went up to Tennessee for a few, Texas for a couple. Georgia has been a strong ground for us, signing 4 out of the state of Georgia. And then we pieced a few, 3 other, Australia and South Carolina and Wisconsin. So thing I like about this class is that we had needs at O-line, we had needs at wide receiver, defensive line. I don't think we're done quite yet at D-line, linebacker, things of that nature. But I really thought that Coach Shear did a nice job of signing the 3 linebackers that he did. So very excited about the class, excited that they're excited about being at the University of Arkansas. So with that, I'll answer whatever y'all want to ask me.
Coach, you signed 4 offensive linemen, 2 inside the state, 1, I guess you consider Memphis kind of an extension of the state. What do you think about that class, just those 4 guys individually? And it looks like you just keep getting bigger up front.
Well, you have Chamblee, whom I think has potential to be a great player, has everything, size, feet, all those things. And then I love Kudus. I mean, I think I can promise you I'd offered him, Chamblee, this class. I did. I offered Henderson when I was at Georgia. So there's not one kid that we got right now that I wouldn't have offered when I was a line coach at Georgia. Marion Harris moves well, had a really good state championship game for a huge person. Eli Henderson, we got him because we think he's a center guard. And then Patrick Kudus he's got a really good high school coach. I think he's going to be ready. I think he'll play. He got potential to play early in his career. And we started with Chamblee, and certainly a lot of talent there, a lot of length. He looks like what you're supposed to, and he's athletic like what you're supposed to. So I thought Coach Kennedy did an outstanding job of coaching this year and then recruiting. And that's part of your job description. You can't be a great coach and a terrible recruiter, and you can't be a good recruiter and a terrible coach. You have to be both, and that's what Coach Kennedy is, and he proved it on the field and proved it in this signing class.
The other most populated position group is wide receiver, and you got a commitment today from Samuel Bakke, and of course, your transfer addition and all that. I mean, with Burks moving on and some uncertainty at wide receiver, how important was that position group? I
think, Trey, if you look back at last year's class, I think we hit on all 3 of those guys. They're just young, but I think we hit on all 3 of those. I think they're all 3 going to be good players for us. You look at our board, we don't have a lot of scholarship wide receivers that are playing ball for us that are going to come back next year. So obviously we went and, Coach Smith, certainly was instrumental in Hazelwood. But then, you have Bakke, McAdoo, and certainly Satagna. And those guys, I think, are very talented. They're all a little bit different. But we wanted to stay as big as we possibly could in length so we could win one-on-one contested balls. But Satagna was just so fast and to be honest with you, very physical for his size. and can win a one-on-one battle in high school. He was winning them all the time. So that was a big class for us too. And again, Coach Guyton did a really good job with them. And then Kenny getting Hazelwood was huge.
Coach, you talked about recruiting has changed, but you signed 22 kids. About 70 to 80% of those kids are coming in at midterm. That's a lot more than used to. I mean, used to have 1 or 2 kids. Now it's 17, whatever it is. I mean, talk about that, getting them on campus. Just what an advantage that is for them and you.
You know what I've learned as a coach is it's a lot about the board. You know, it's a lot about available scholarships, how many you have left, you know, and when you're sitting here looking at 17 to 19 coming in early, you have to have those amount of scholarships available, obviously. So, but the board, I'm enjoying the job, you know, but you get a whole spring with somebody. I remember I had Andrew Thomas at Georgia, and he got in June, and he started as, you know, some guys get it a little bit faster, and he didn't have any really fallacies. He was strong and athletic and all those things. But you get a guy in spring ball, you have a chance. I mean, you have a chance to play, and certainly the ones that are ready will get ready, and the ones that aren't, well, hopefully we can get them on some type of special teams and help us through there. But I can remember, I don't think it's too many years ago when you were setting, you know, if you got 1, you got 2, graduated, you know, at Christmas, that it was kind of a big deal. And now I know it's at least 17. I'm not for sure the number. I've been really, really busy today, but I think it's between 17 and 19, and the number certainly could grow. You know, where you bring in 20 guys into your program in the spring, you're losing 20 some. You have a chance to continue to get better.
Hey, Sam, with Hazelwood and Jackson, they obviously have previous experience, you know, high level programs. Well, what do you expect each of them to bring to the table for you? And how big is it to get some experienced guys?
Well, I think you're talking about 2 totally different guys. In other words, Hazelwood's played a lot. He's older, you know, played a lot of ball. So he would be a guy, but not the expectations, but they're just 2 different guys. You know, Hazelwood's played a whole lot of ball. Landon's played some ball until he got hurt. But we need help at both those positions, in my opinion. And I don't know, there's probably guys out there that were with me, but I think those 2 guys at their position are probably about as good as there is in the country in the portal at defensive end and at wide receiver. And very excited to get both of them because we're expecting them to help us immediately.
Okay, said that seeing how you used Traylon Burks was one of the reasons that he decided to go with Arkansas. So what do you think that the year that Burks had, how did you think that influenced some of the young receivers that you signed today?
I imagine a lot, you know, each and every one. Obviously, not every one of them is going to be the slot receiver. But I think a lot. In other words, I think with Burks's numbers, I think that just proved that we're willing to throw the football. And I think these kids, and with KJ, we have somebody that can throw the football. I think those are 2 of the biggest things that kids look at is, do you have somebody that can get me the ball, and are you willing to throw it around? And just the numbers alone this year on what Burks did, I think that's really, I do think that helped us, yes.
Coach, you talked even just last year about wanting to have higher ranked recruiting classes and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches will kind of shy away from talking about recruiting rankings stuff, but various sites have you 18th, 13th, 11th, one has you 25th. And what are your thoughts right now on, you know, where your class is ranked by those different services?
Well, you know, I feel like each year we're getting a little bit better, you know, in our classes. We certainly aren't happy with where we are, but we're getting a little bit better. I think we'll continue to move up and you know, in those things. We want to be right on who we get. We won't offer a kid a scholarship if we wouldn't take it. So I'm proud of our staff, you know, of our recruiting department. I thought Coach Butler Charlie and BTO and Callie and Maddie and those guys. They did a nice job of organizing everything. And I always want to finish higher, but we are. Each year we're getting a little bit better, a little bit better. Our team's getting a little bit better, a little bit better. So as long as it's heading in that way, there'll be some people who don't like it, but most people will.
Coach, one position that is not on this list is quarterback. Was that something you decided early on, or are you still maybe looking for a quarterback to add for depth, or do you like your numbers?
Well, we might be. I mean, we might be. Everything's fluid in, with the transfer portal and, both ways, out of here and in here, and so certainly that would be something that is always things we'd have to look at. We made a decision not to sign a quarterback this year simply because we felt like we were on some really good ones in the 2023 class, and we felt like it would help us get them, knowing that we had Malik and certainly KJ and we got Coley. And Renfro's a fine. He walked on here, but he's a fine quarterback. So we felt pretty secure at the quarterback position that we could. I don't know if it's a smart move or not. I guess time will tell. But I felt like we could, because there's nobody immediately in front of a guy. Maybe you could, with KJ going to be a junior, maybe you could really sign a great one in the 2023 class. So that's why we did it.
Coach, you had a few players enter the portal this morning, and by my count, that can't be the end of it, or you'll be over. How difficult is that numbers crunch when you're trying to balance a recruiting class, players entering the portal, and all of that stuff to stay under the 85 this year?
It's difficult, but for me to sit here and think that we're not going to have several guys between now and the bowl, and then after the bowl, I'm not really concerned about it, Trey. I lied to you. I'm concerned about it. But I'll bet you before we get over with, we'll be under 85. You know what I mean? It's free agency out there, and it's wild right now. And it's if I'm not starting, I'm transferring world, and I get it. I get it. That's the ones that are starting for you that hurt you. Really hurt. You don't want to lose depth. At all. But I worry all the time. I do. I have the board. I have the numbers we need. All those type things. But I'm about positive it'll work itself out. I really think that.
And just the way you talk about free agency in that regard, and also there's some concern with, some coaches, talking about NILs and how it's affecting recruiting, and like almost feels like the highest bidder, can get a recruit and stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's face the facts. It's certainly going that way. I read the University of Texas had every offensive line guy on scholarship got X amount of dollars, and I'm not griping about it. But that's how it's going, and where it stops, nobody knows. I'm not saying I'm not for the kids. I'm just saying that my mind's got to change a little bit in recruiting and NIL. And you're not supposed to use NIL for recruiting, but I'm saying if you've got your entire offensive line worth $50,000 to $150,000 a man, you probably become a little bit better recruiter, I'd imagine.
Sam, you talked about the portals swings both ways. I guess the names Boykin, Towers, Hamilton, Jordan. Can you confirm those guys are in the portal?
Well, you wouldn't know about them if they weren't. So you got it off the portal. So yes, they're in the portal.
And you got 3 linebackers, and we know you're hoping to get Bumper back, but you're definitely losing 2 of your top 3. How do you feel about the linebackers? You got Manny's obviously coming off an injury. Maybe what are your expectations for him?
I like Poopall. I like Parker. It's no secret. I'm trying to keep Poole. I love this young 3 linebackers that we signed. We'll see if we feel like we need to go in the portal for another guy. The portal, it's not like you're just going to go pick a guy, he's in the portal and you pick it. The guy's got to be a good player. And in my opinion, he has to have played in college. I think you can make big mistakes on he was a 5-star in high school and he didn't go play over here and he hadn't played in a year or two. And then all of a sudden you're going to make him into something that they couldn't, probably not going to work. So I like to sign guys that I've seen play on the field and in a college. So we may do that, but I think we definitely linebacker is one of our positions that obviously we lost some good ones that's concerning. We feel like we have the guys on campus that can take over and do that, but certainly that's an unproven position overall right now.
Coach, on the portal deal, if you get down, there's 7, you can, if you lose,
If you lose,
do you
yeah.
have to take portal kids or can you take high school kids?
No, you can take high school as well.
You can?
It just gives you an extra scholarship.
Okay.
Hey, what they're trying to do is not deplete your roster down to 60 people if you have guys transfer. And guys transfer for different reasons. They transfer, they're not starting. They transfer because they'll never play. They'll transfer because I'm not getting the ball enough, whatever the reasons of being. And I don't really think it's a picture of the way the programs ran. I just think, it's at times right now to where if I'm not doing something right now, the system has allowed I'm going to go somewhere else, whether somewhere else is better or not, they're already gone. So it really doesn't, it doesn't matter at that point. They've already left your program.
Hey, Jalen Catalon announced yesterday he was coming back.
There you go.
So I just
Go Hawks.
just wanted to get your thoughts
Stromberg before that. Go Hawks.
just your thoughts on what went in his decision, what you think of it.
Well, I think he made a great decision. No, for him personally, I think it was a good decision as well. Certainly coming off the shoulder that he had last year, he wasn't able to complete what was a fine season that started out. So with him coming back, it's a big, big thing for us. I think it will certainly help him. And Ricky the same way. I think Ricky had contemplated going out. I didn't think Ricky, I think he could make a team. I thought if he came back another year, got stronger, another year of playing, that he could really, really roll up the draft board. And but I was just honest with both of them about where they were on the board, and then let them decide what they wanted to do. And fortunately for us, they both decided to come back. Both of them were draftable, by the way.
Coach, earlier, I think you said that you were maybe looking possibly using the other spots for portal. I mean, are the remaining spots you have? I think you're at 22 now. You can go up to 28, I believe.
28.
And then
if I lose this, if 7 get in the portal.
So do you anticipate using some high school kids, or how do you anticipate kind of filling up those spots?
Well, we're recruiting high school kids still. So we're trying to get the best available, but there are lots of need. I mean, that we have to say, we have to get one of these, we have to get one of those. And so if we think the high school player is as good as anybody we can go out and get in the portal, we're going high school. That's just my belief. But if we don't, then, we'll go with a guy that's played somewhere else once he gets in the portal. But there's some really talented guys still out there that we're trying to get. But if we don't, then we'll go to college.
Yeah, you got Brown and Lewis as the DBs in this class. I wonder if you could speak to them just a little and maybe, still active there?
Yeah, very physical, both of them. You know, the thing I like when you watch film on Brown and Lewis is they both could be really good wide receivers. I mean, they've got really good ball skills, good speed. Both of them really good friends. That helps too, I think. But both big and physical kids that I feel like are Arkansas. You know, tough. Not a lot of social media stuff. You know what I mean? Just, hey, I'm going to come to Arkansas. I'm going to earn my way, and people are going to like me because I'm tough and physical and good kids, you know. But yeah, I like both of them a lot. I think they're really physical.
Coach, I know if you're a first year coach, then you don't like this early signing period at all.
Not at all.
But you're in your third class.
Yeah.
I was curious what your thoughts are of it being in the situation you're in. And do you think it's the best thing for coaches, for kids, for the sport to have the early period?
Well, there's really an extra cycle, not for the new coach. But if you really look at it, you have a cycle of signing day. And I can remember a coach said when I first got here, he said, well, we should do something about this because there's no good players left anyway. And I'm thinking about it and I'm going, that's not true, no, but majority of your players are signing. Well, then when you go out in January, what are you doing? Well, you're going out and looking for 2023 kids. In the olden days, it was, I'm hanging on to my hat. Now it's 2020. So you really have two cycles of spring, in my opinion now. I don't know about the calendar where we should go with it. I've been a head coach all of, 2 years, so I'm not the one that should be the expert on it. I just know this, that I am an expert on early signing day, and you have no chance if you're a head coach at a program that has fired their coach, because the fired coach is not going to have anybody committed. Very few when you get in there and you're trying to rally up a class of 20, 25 guys, and it's impossible. You're going to get them all in the second signing class, which we did 2 years ago, but I mean, it's impossible. So I'm all for it now, but I wasn't, and to be honest with you, the guys that get these jobs after the playoff weekends, I'm going, man, Danny Lanning, he'll get he's a great recruiter, great guy. He'll rally around and get a good class at Oregon as they had staying. But it's hard now. I mean, it's hard. I don't know what you do about it.
Curious also, not that this is impacted at all in this class, but in-state recruiting is always important. And a lot of times schools will come, from out of state, and they'll offer a kid they haven't evaluated in your state
Yeah.
and stuff.
Try to put
And it
the
doesn't
heat
really
on you.
mean
Yeah.
that much. And is it in that case for you guys to make sure that you're out in the state evaluating guys, and just to make sure somebody doesn't kind of try to come up?
It's very important. And to be honest with you, this really we've been in the state, but not like we need to be, in all honesty. And it's been because, we didn't get the spring. And so this January, we're going to make a huge push in our state just to meet coaches and go around. And now you had the 2.5 week window in there where you have to go see your guys you're getting ready to sign. You know what I mean? So I think the state will show the state a little bit more than what we have now, how much we appreciate them whenever the January period comes.
Is the portal, is it really pretty much neutralized the junior college? I mean, really affected the junior college recruiting, and it just doesn't seem like you guys really look at, JUCO kids anymore.
Isn't it crazy? Well, now JUCO last year was, late, most of them. I think it's hurt two things, the portal. It's hurt high school recruiting, and it's hurt junior college recruiting. I mean, it has, so.
But if you get a kid that's played 2 years, let's just say at Michigan, or 2 years that at junior college, you're going to probably, I mean, you judge the kid from Michigan a lot better, don't you think? Or
Well,
Tennessee or any
I
school.
would, I
mean,
would relate it to if you play in the SEC versus you're playing in, we played in the CSIC when I was at Pitt State. So let's use that one. Even though there was some fine players in that league. But if you got it, you're looking at a kid playing against Alabama and Arkansas and Georgia and whomever versus Missouri Western, Northwest Missouri State, and the great Pitt State Gorillas, you probably got a better evaluation if that makes sense. So you're 100% right.
Coach, y'all had some success this class with guys like McAdoo flipping for Florida State, Isaiah from Oregon, and then also Crook from Oklahoma State. What's the key whenever you're recruiting a guy that's already committed somewhere else? How do you get them to change their mind, and how did y'all go about like getting those guys to change their
Well, I'll
minds?
be honest with you. I'm not positive how we got back in on Crook, but Satagna and McAdoo came back to us, because we had recruited them. We had a good relationship. So I don't want to burn any bridges, but they came back to us, and both of them came back, in that first run we made, somewhere around in there. I think maybe McAdoo was a little earlier, but when we proved that they could be proud of the Razorbacks, and we're nowhere where we need to be. I'm not saying that, but I think we're a lot better than we were 2 years ago, and that's helped our recruiting. And they came back to us to see that they could experience bowls, and things of that nature, which they weren't quite able to do before.
Just assistant coaches, you've had such a good year. Do you have any concerns that you might have a couple peeled off, or how's that looking?
No, I don't. Yes, I always have concern, yeah, but no, I think we're in great shape. I have no indication at what we might lose anyone on our staff, and to put it out there, I don't want to lose anybody on the staff. So I'm sure the university will sit down and figure out what we can do for to make sure that it doesn't happen. We've already started in a couple of guys. But no, I don't want to lose anybody, and I have no indication that we're going to.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Oh, everybody.